My name is Braedon. I'm from Rhode Island. I'm 22. Before I transitioned, I was like identified as a lesbian. Well, at first, that's what I was like. Oh, I'm a lesbian because like never like guys, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was when I was like 15,
Yeah.
14, 15, whatever. So that's when I came out as like a lesbian. My mom took my phone one time and like read my text messages with this girl or whatever, and yeah, so it was just like new from there. And they kind of figured ever since I was like little. So no, they were just like they wanted me to like just like admit it, but I was just like, no, I'm not gay. Like I don't know, like I didn't know like how to go about it. Like I didn't really have any gay friends, so I wasn't like I didn't know how to like from like 14, 15 till I was like 18, and that's when I came out as like trans. I guess like coming out as a lesbian was like, oh okay, like now everything's good. Like I know who I blah blah, blah. And then it was just like, oh, something's like not right. Like I never like said, oh hey, I was a lesbian. I always use the term like gay or whatever because it was just like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
So I never really identified as like female. So yeah, ever since I was younger, like I can remember like going out with like my family and stuff, and all my friends were guys, and like
Yeah.
I hung out with all my guy cousins or whatever, and we used to go like to the park or whatever, and like they'd be like, oh, shirts off, you know, it's like the summer, and I'd be like, yeah, and I just remember this one time my dad was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? Like, and that's when I knew, and then I was just like, I have no fucking idea. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I never really considered myself like female ever. So I did some like research and stuff on like gender identity, blah blah blah, whatever. And then I was like, oh yeah, like I don't know. It was just like totally like this is it. This is what makes sense. And well, before I came out, it was like I was just miserable all the time, like because I knew I was trans, but I was like I don't know how to fucking like tell people this and that.
Yeah.
And then after I told people, it was just like, oh, what was I worried about? Like
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, whatever. So I was dating this girl at the time or whatever, and then I kind of like came out to her, and it was like real weird. And anyway, we ended up breaking up because she wasn't like I don't know. She hadn't like she didn't really know about like trans blah like all that shit, and so she was kind of like, oh, like what the fuck, like I like girls, all this shit. And then after that, I came out to my friends and then my family. My friends are like really supportive and cool, and like they are really cool with it. It's just like the only thing that sucks now is like I go out and like they'll bring their friends and be like, oh, you know, like I'm known as like, oh, trans, like this trans kid over here, and it's just like, dude, what the fuck, like I get outed a lot, so that's not fun. My parents were really cool with it. I came out to them like 2.5, 3 years ago or something,
Yeah.
and they've been really cool with it. I mean, my dad still like screws up my name sometimes, but which I just find it funny. Like, I mean, come on, like you just look fucking crazy. Like here I am with a beard, and you're calling me, what are you talking about? Like, so it's funny, but the rest of my family, they're really cool with it. So I got lucky with that because I know like a lot of people have like horror stories. I mean, there's like not one way to go about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like a lot of trans guys like decide not to go on testosterone, get surgery or don't. Like it's just, you can do whatever basically. Um, my whole thing was I started T like almost 2 years ago. It was like a process. Like I had to go like therapy for a year, get my T letter, find like a place to prescribe me T, and then I started. And now it's just like waiting on like surgery whole thing for like through my insurance and all that, so I gotta work that out. The only surgeries I plan on getting is hysterectomy and chest surgery, so and my insurance will like hopefully cover both. I was supposed to get chest surgery last June, but then like the day before my insurance called me and they're like, oh, by the way, we're not gonna cover it. And I was just like, oh, basically because I was born in like a female body, so it's like I have man boobs, as I call them. That's awkward, and like having to bind every day for like the past 3 years is like pain in the ass. So, but right now, a friend of mine just, well, a while ago he got it covered. He has the same insurance as me, and he has all like the, you know, the ways to do it. So I'm working on that right now with claims and stuff. You have to appeal it a bunch of times. There's like this whole mess, but it'll get done. And like hysterectomy, I'm not sure how that's gonna be covered. I haven't really looked into it that much, but it's like not mandatory, but it's like definitely recommended within the first 5 years of being on T. or it just like higher your rate of getting cancer. So. So yeah, I had to go to like a therapist for like a year to get my T letter. Well, at first, like it was just like whatever, and then I was like, it doesn't matter how long it takes, like I'll just whatever. And so yeah, you have to get your T letter, which basically says like you have like gender dysphoria, all this stuff, and then it's like basically to get you to like whatever doctor to have them prescribe you tea, because it's like a whole process. You can't just be like, oh yeah, hey. I go through a pharmacy in Oregon, and they send it to me because my insurance doesn't cover it unless you go to the doctors every week to get it like injected, and I'm like, I'm not paying that. Yeah, so it's cheaper doing it that way. I take it every week, basically for the rest of my life. But after I get like hysterectomy or whatever, it'll be easier to maintain testosterone levels, so I won't have to like, I'll take like less or like not as often, so I'm not really sure yet. Like, I went through like crazy like emotion shit, and I mean I still do because I forget to take my shot. Like I totally forget for like a week, and I'll be like, fuck, I should have done that. But so it kind of like fucks you up that way. It's in the beginning, I guess it's a little shitty because your hormones, you're trying to like balance everything out and find the right dose and all this stuff. So that gets a little crazy, but once you get on like the right thing, the right dose and everything, you're good. I'm Braedon, and I've been there. I never know when to just be like, oh hey, by the way, and like sometimes I'll just do it, and then it's just like, some, whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, but I don't really care. Whatever. I got cats. No, that's depressing.